Hey guys, it's Tah. Welcome back. And if you're new, welcome. Thanks so much for stopping by. I really appreciate you. So for today, we are going to be picking TBR prompts and the books that correlate for February. I'm super excited. As far as last month goes, I had 5, 6, 7, 8 books, I believe it is. Yes, I think it's 8. Let's see. A book with the tree on the cover. I use The Haunting of Leigh Parker. Harker. I did read this one. For book based on its spine, You, Me, Everything by Catherine Isaac. I did read that one. Less than 2,022 ratings on GoodReads. It was a Kindle book. Now Lorraine Has Gone. I read that one. From the Villain's Perspective, I chose to read Mistress of All Evil by Serena Valentino. I read that one. An indie read, Going Home by Rhonda R. Dennis. I read that one. And then this was also my TBR knockout, which is something that Completely Melanie puts out. And this was first in a series, so that's this one. And then as far as TBR knockout goes, the second prompt was a book you started last year, and that was The Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter by Theodore Goss, and I finished this one. And then for Buzzword, it was Who, What, When, Where, Why, and How, and that is hosted by Kayla over at Books and Lala. And I chose I Know Who You Are by Alice Feeney, and I read that one. And then every month, I try to choose a book from the Reese Witherspoon book club picks for everything, because I've never really kept up with that until now. And this month, well, technically today's the 31st. But for January, I chose You Have a Match by Emma Lord, and I did read that one. So everything on my TBR has been read for the month of January. So now we move on to February. Let's see what we have as far as TBR knockout and buzzwords as well. So we'll pick our prompts first out of the jar, and then we'll do the TBR knockout and the buzzword at the end, plus picking a Reese Witherspoon book from the cup. And orange is adult and pink is young adult. So let's open this up. And prompt number 1 will be this one. And it is the word game is in the title. Excuse my messy handwriting. So I don't know if I have any books with the word game. I will go look at my shelves as well as my Kindle. Maybe something will pop up there. Okay, so first prompt was game in the title. And I chose The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I've seen so many people review this. Very good feedback on it. And this is basically about a girl named Avery who has a plan for the future to survive high school, win a scholarship, and get out. But her luck changes because a billionaire Tobias Hawthorne dies and leaves everything to her. She has to move into his mansion full of secret passages, riddles, and codes. But unfortunately, the man's family is there, and she has to basically, I guess, outwit them to get the inheritance that was left, because they each think something bad about her. Like, one says she's a con woman, and the other one views her as her grandfather's last hurrah. So, like, he views her as, like, the puzzle to be solved. So she has to play the game and survive to win. And I can't wait to read this. Prompt number 2. We're going to choose 5 prompts from the jar. I think that's what I did last month. Yeah. So, we got middle grade. that one will be super easy. I have a whole shelf, like rolling cart, that has middle grade on it. Some I'm really looking forward to reading, so let's see what we can find there. Prompt 2 was middle grade, and for this one I chose The One and Only Ivan by Catherine Applegate. And this one is about Ivan, who is a silverback gorilla who lives in a shopping mall, and people come and see them tap on the glass and stuff, and he thinks he has, like, you know, a good life. He's friends with different animals that are there. He watches TV, he does his artwork, but then one day he meets Ruby, a baby elephant who was taken from her family, and he sees his artwork and stuff through new eyes, and when Ruby arrives, change comes with her, and it's up to Ivan to make it change for the better. I've heard a lot of people like this one. I hope I don't cry. I might. You know, animals pull on your heartstrings. So, yes. And I got this one at like a thrift store for like 25 cents. Score. Prompt number 3. POC main character. So person of color for the main character. I have some of those as well. So let's see. So prompt 3 was a POC main character, and for this I chose Cemetery Boys excuse me, by Aiden Thomas. And this one is about Yadriel, I believe is how you say it, a trans boy determined to prove his gender to his traditional Latinx family. With the help of his cousin Maritza, he performs a ritual to summon a spirit, a ghost, and he is trying to summon his cousin who was murdered so that they can like set him free so he can finally rest. But instead, he summons Julian Diaz, who is the school's resident bad boy, and he doesn't want to go away. And he's not going to go willingly because he wants to know what happened and why, and tie up loose ends and stuff. And Yadriel decides to help him, and the way it kind of looks is that the more time they spend together, the less that Julian wants to be released. So I think it'll be an interesting read. Prompt number 4. I'm gonna go deep for this one. Book with a natural disaster. I might have something with a hurricane or a fire or something. We shall see. And for prompt number 4, which was a book that has a natural disaster, I chose Bad Call by Stephen Wallenfels. And this one is about a group of guys who were playing poker, and they decided a pact to go camping together in Yosemite National Park. And you know, poker vows can't be broken. They just can't. So things start happening. The first sign of trouble was when one of the guys backs out, and then next the CEO replaces somebody, a girl, and there's a forest fire at their intended campsite. And then once they get there, there's a freak snowstorm that's supposed to be coming in, and they have a crappy tent, and all of a sudden one of them doesn't come back. I guess they like walked around or something. I don't know. They don't make it back to the tent, and they're desperate to survive while piecing together what happens. The remaining hikers must decide who to trust and who not to trust, because there's a reason that perhaps this person didn't show back up. That could be more than just this natural disaster that's happening. So I'm excited to see who is the person who goes missing and what happened to him, and who did it. And prompt number 5. Just one. Oh, that's more than one. Okay, this one. Published by Simon & Schuster. So it's time to look at publishers for this one. So let's go see what I can find. And then the fifth prompt was published by Simon & Schuster. And for that one, I chose The Favorite Sister by Jessica Knoll. So, two sisters, Brett is dead and Kelly is not innocent. They work on this reality show, and one of them dies. Brett dies in the middle of filming, and apparently the sister and the other cast members, there's 5 total, they have motives. So it says the favorite sister follows 5 singular women, all with secrets to hide, all with one thing in common: unbridled ambition in a world that forces women to make shrewd calculations for professional and personal gains. So they are on a reality show. One of them winds up dead. Now they have to figure out who killed her, because it was supposed to be just a reality show, not a death show, apparently. So we will see why she's the favorite sister. Interesting. Alright, so next we're going to go ahead and pick the TBR Knockout and the buzzword. And TBR Knockout, number 1 is a short story collection. So for that, I chose Nicholas and the Gang. This is a short story collection about Nicholas and his friends. They always find exciting things to do. Max does conjuring tricks, Jeffrey invents a secret code, and Nicholas learns that walking on your hands is much harder than turning somersaults. The Nicholas books have been constant bestsellers in France and across Europe for over 50 years, and are fast becoming as popular in the English-speaking world. Nicholas's adventures and exploits are brought to life by René Goscinny, the author of Asterix, and world-renowned illustrator Jean-Jacques Sempé. Classic children's fiction to be read, reread, and loved forever. So we're going to see what Nicholas and the Gang is all about. So, like I said, short stories inside. And then the other prompt for TBR Knockout is short book, 250 pages or less. And for that, I chose Him, Her, Him Again, The End of Him by Patricia Marks. And this is like right under 250, like 240 something. And this one is about the heroine falls for philosopher Eugene Obella during her graduate school days in Cambridge, England. Why would anyone fall for a man who received a grant to pursue ego studies? Why would that person remain obsessed even after this guy marries and becomes a father? When things get unbearable, our girl says goodbye to her dormitory room and becomes a TV writer in New York on the hit sketch comedy show Taped But Proud. Coincidentally, Eugene moves to New York as well. More years of lusting and longing, hoping and waiting, until a spectacular event changes everything. So it sounds like the girl who's obsessed with him might actually kill him. I guess we'll have to read it and find out, because, you know, obsession, stalking, it just has to lead to death, right? Right. And then for the buzzword, it is titles that include things such as me, she, him, her, us, we, them, like that type stuff. So this one has him, her, multiple times, so this one will fit for the buzzword. Now the last thing we need to do is pick our Reese Witherspoon book from her book club. Just kind of separating them and mixing them. So let's pick a book and see which one I wind up reading. This one, Conviction by Denise Mina, and it is from December 9th, 2019. So, Conviction, I had to look it up, is about Anna, who is a housewife, mom, and every day she has just a quiet, normal life. She packs her kids' stuff and sends them to school and whatnot, and she likes to listen to podcasts, like crime podcasts, and one day, like, her life just erupted. Her husband comes down and tells her some news, and then shockingly, she's alone. So I'm thinking it might be a divorce. I could be wrong, but that's kind of where my thinking goes. So she's alone. She's like, let me put on some podcasts. Other people's drama is better than my own. And then the podcast that comes on, she knows the victims from an earlier life that she is trying to stay far away from. But then an unexpected visitor shows up on her doorstep, and then her neighbors are meddling. Since when? All neighbors seem to be meddling. So to kind of evade the situation, because all the stuff from the past is starting to come up, she goes on the run with a washed up singer and the podcast as her guide to find the truth. So apparently, maybe whatever happened kind of is focused on her, but she's like, it's not supposed to be. There's a truth somewhere in there. So she's gonna go find it. Will she find it? Will she make it out of this A-okay? Who knows? But we will once I read the book. So those are the books this month that are on the TBR and the TBR Knockout and the Buzzword and the Reese Witherspoon book. So I'm super stoked to get started with February's reads. Have you read any of these? Do you like them? If so, let me know in the comments. Let's talk about it. So I'll see you guys next time. Bye, y'all.